I would define stress as something that everyone deals with in their life. It's not really something that you can avoid.
I think stress, for me, it's kind of like a looming cloud.
An overflow of a bunch of emotions that in general make me sweaty and tired. It just wears me down.
Something that is a load on yourself.
For me, it's just like a lot of panic.
I define stress as something that is on your mind constantly and you sometimes feel like you don't really know what to do about it, right?
I really feel stressed out with the amount of schoolwork, just because it's added on to everything.
A lot of times just classes cause me stress. Getting assignments completed on time.
Exams definitely stress me out, midterms, finals, especially when all of them are coming to me at the same time.
Many people are working jobs and going to school and trying to have a social life. Trying to find the balance is difficult.
My job on campus, and then I'm playing baseball. It's more things I have to worry about. I love playing baseball, and I actually love my job on campus too, but because it all adds to my workload, it gets stressful.
I think right now in my life, I definitely feel the most stress like in my family relationships and like with money.
I guess financial stress would be one of the biggest other stressors other than school. Money is important and it's also hard to get, especially when you're a student. Yeah, and then balancing a job and school is also kind of difficult because you want to do well in school, but you also need money.
I would say like financially, yeah, like that's definitely one of those things. You know, I don't really make that much money anyway, so I can't imagine like living in the city at this moment. You know, so that's certainly stressful because like if I didn't live in a dorm, like where would I live? You know.
Like right now, as an example, I'm finding housing. And then that is really stressful to me because I've never had to like find housing, family, finance, and balancing like the different aspects of my life. I guess that's like the three hardest things. Just because it's like that's what every teenager or every young adult is trying to do, and it's just like not only me, you know?
I feel like a lot of students are just always stressed. Like whenever I see a friend or a colleague and I ask them how they're doing, their automatic responses, oh, I'm stressed. I've got a lot of homework to do. I've got a lot of exams or papers coming up. I'm always stressed, and I feel like everyone kind of bonds because they have that similar stress.
There comes a point where like there's just so much stress in all these different areas that it all becomes kind of blurred, that everything just affects different things.
We always talk about support services, not just in school, but what is the student-specific support network that's available to them. So who is that person or persons who are going to be non-judgmental and just be there to listen and to help you process through whatever is stressing you out. I also talk to students about having at least one person on campus, some campus employee, whether it's an advisor or a trusted faculty member or maybe their disability specialist who they can go to talk to.
I usually wouldn't go to a professor or a mentor just because they, even though they've been my age at once, they can't really connect with me because they don't know what it's like.
I don't really trust my professors.
I don't really have a lot of like mentors who are like older than me that like completely understand like what I'm going through. Even like in terms of just like workload, I feel like a lot of adults like don't understand like how much like schoolwork we get, which is like kind of awful.
Normally I wouldn't tell them to seek help from a friend because seeking help from a friend isn't really experienced. So I would suggest either a parent or maybe one of our counselors at school.
I usually go to my sibling and I talk to them about my stress issues, or if it's about like friends or schoolwork, I go to my sibling because I know that they've gone through those similar experiences, so I always go to them to seek out advice.
I talk to my partner Nico about it because it's really nice to have someone to like just talk to you about what you're feeling. Usually I just talk to my friends and to Nico, just because I feel like they're the people that are like, they can most relate to like what I'm going through and like all of the different like ways in which I'm stressed.
I feel like just hearing about everything that he's doing and everything that he's changing, everything that he said, and the idea that people voted him in as the president, I feel like that's always a lingering stress that's kind of in the back of my head. I mean, I'm always stressing about like the safety of my friends, the safety of my family, because, you know, I'm clearly a person of color. It's stressful knowing that a lot of my friends, a lot of my just peers in general, family members, they're basically targets in this country because of Trump.
It's a big change because his history, his knowledge about politics is quite troublesome. No political experience, really radical, lies, and he satirizes and talks about like women and minorities, and I just don't like that. You just have to hope for the best and try to educate the guy on the things that he has to do. I'm just in the back of my head, I'm just like, I hope that he doesn't do anything dumb to send us to World War III. That's all I'm saying.
Because of this new government, before, like, being an international student coming back into America after visiting my family, I'm completely fine, right? Because I'm legal. I have a social security number here because I work, and like all my documents are legal and everything, so there's nothing to worry about. But I'm going back home in like 2 months for summer, and then I'm just worried that when I come back, the immigration office is gonna be like kind of sketched out just because I'm an international student. And I don't know, that really like worries me.
The day after the election, like when we found out that like Trump was gonna be president or whatever, it was like me and like everyone I knew were just like in total shock. Yeah, I would say the new like government administration is a huge stressor that's like always in the back of my mind now. Well, any like marginalized person is gonna be thinking about that like all the time.
It came up, I wasn't keeping precise data, but I would say if I had 4 appointments in a day, 1 to 3 of them would mention how it was impacting them currently, usually in a negative way.
Right after the election, there was a lot of fallout with people feeling sad and angry and frightened, particularly if they are families who are immigrant families where there might be a deportation issue that's there.
One of the students actually was breaking down because he was really scared that his parents were going to be deported back to Mexico. So, and I think we've heard other students having those fears as well. And this was just right after Trump was took office.
So one of the ways I handle stress is by going to the gym.
I like taking naps to de-stress.
To spend time with my friends, they're great and they really make me forget about everything.
Sometimes I just like put on earphones, like listen to some music that I really like and just like try to take a nap.
I like to spend time by myself. Like I'll go on a walk by myself, or I'll go somewhere to eat by myself, and I'll just let my mind kind of wander, and that helps me a lot.
I try to write a lot. That helps. I think like as long as you put your thoughts out there in some way, even if you never show it to anyone, as long as like you feel comfortable expressing yourself to yourself, I think that helps a lot. So that helps me like decompress in a way, and just like putting my thoughts out there just to myself.
Yeah, recently I'm like trying to do more like creative outlets to get rid of stress. So like I'm trying to do like art journaling. So like I'll draw out whatever is like making me stressed, or I'll try to like immerse myself in like some other like creative project. I write a lot of poetry, which is actually like really helpful like when you're stressed. Whenever I'm stressed, the one thing that I always want to hear is just like, hey, you'll be okay.
Really just take time by yourself and figure it out.
I feel like everything will work out in the end if it's supposed to, and if you can do anything about the things that are stressing you out, do it. If not, there will be better things coming along.
Think of the whole picture. Try to focus on what it is you can control, what you can't control, and what you can control, then focus on that part of it and just do the best you can do and be happy with that. As long as you're doing the best that you can do, be happy with that.
Just being available, giving them the opportunity to talk to me about their problems, I think that's the best way to help someone de-stress. And taking care of yourself and avoiding so much stress is important in taking care of oneself.
I always have this saying that in every bad situation there is some good. Like light cannot exist without darkness, darkness cannot exist without light, bad cannot exist without good, and good cannot exist without bad. So in every bad situation there is some good. So I always tell them to think on a positive note. In that bad situation, what are some good things that can come about with this situation?
Sometimes you gotta bear down and really look at yourself and figure it out so you can be the best of who you are.
Some people might think this is terrible. Like, if you're stressed out, my thing is, it could have been worse. It could have been worse.